Happy Monday. Welcome to ATI Pro Media. We are powered by Advanced Trading. Kind of a quiet night, and we're drifting into the day session now, and we're seeing a little action. We'll take it over to LaSalle Street, read you the quotes, then we'll take down the headlines. We had some news. It's election season, not just in America, but all over the world. Let's take it to LaSalle Street real quick and look at the markets. Corn here doing okay. July corn up 2, and July soybeans up 5, but a little difference in no beans. No beans down 2, seeing some divergence there. Meal up 5, oil down 2. This is where the selling comes in. Board of Trade wheat down 10, KC wheat down 15, spring wheat down 10. Moisture, big moisture in Kansas City, and then a little bit of moisture in the Ukraine-Russia area helping calm things down there a little bit. June live cattle up 130, feeder cattle up 240, hogs down a touch. Take it to Wall Street. Gold down 3, silver up 18. Gold and silver been really volatile lately. Looking at the interest rates, they're a little lower across the 2s, 5s, 10s, 30s. The bond market, the futures are lower, which means rates are going up again. Crude oil up 80. Natural gas having a big day. Putting natural gas down for a 5% winner, that is a good indication of the heat that's coming when you see those natural gas generators get fired up to produce electricity. The quickest way to make electricity is a natural gas generator that the utility companies use for when they have a big influx of need electricity. Dow Jones up 30, NASDAQ down 40, S&P down 8, Bitcoin pretty quiet day. Dr. Copper up. All right, let's get in the show. Connor B, bring them in. Headlines, and then we'll answer a few questions. We got to get out of here. I got a bunch of stuff to do, buddy.
Yeah, good deal. It feels good to be busy. We'll see. Not a bad start to the week. Looking at the markets, good to be positive. We'll see what the follow through. Big thing Wednesday, we have a USDA report. We'll be going live for that, and then have the 18 break it down in the afternoon. So keep that on your calendar and make sure we're paying attention to that.
Yeah, real quick on Wednesday, we're probably going to have a really short show at 9. Still love for you to tune in. We'll talk a little bit, talk about what we did on Premium, but I probably won't be on it. I'm going to travel down to ATI Corporate. You and Brady, or just you go solo, Brady go solo, doesn't matter. Just quote the markets up and we'll get out of here. We have some premium content to do. Then we got to do our day job, get a hold of people for this report and everything, make sure we're ready. We'll break it down and go from there. Then we're going live Thursday, special announcement. Thursday, we're going to be at 10 o'clock instead of our normal 9 o'clock.
Yep.
And we're going to be in front of a studio audience. That's code for we'll be at the corporate office with clients there. And it should be fun. I'm really excited to see how that goes. A little interesting to work from the road and whatnot.
Yeah, be a good way. Stay with. If we have some hiccups, it's our first time doing this. I think it'll go fine. But if we have some technical hiccups, please save the mean comments for later.
Now we'll be fine. I've been practicing here with the equipment, so we're good.
Yep.
I think to always say that now, and then it'll be on the blooper reel. Anyway, it'll be fun. What do you got for headlines? It's election season, and not just our elections. There's other elections going on too.
Yeah, we had the Rick put together that election calendar and how many there are. Right now, we're in the EU, right? They just had an election. But the big headline I saw, Tommy, is France, the French president, called a snap election. Okay, so this was news to me, but basically he's getting a little nervous seeing the opposition building. So he kind of made a real aggressive move, and he can call the election now. And so, you know where my head goes.
Of course.
What if we had that in the United States? Could you imagine we'd have the election 6 months early if they decided to do it?
Yeah, we have a lot of checks and balances here. We got to learn from the last election that regardless of how you like the results, there's going to be a swearing-in day, and we have a fiduciary duty to make that happen as America. It was good, to see that the show goes on. Yeah, interesting nonetheless.
Yeah. Interesting. And it's really kind of a right-leaning wave is what he's trying to, that's what's coming on big in the EU and France. So we'll see where that goes, see what that means for agriculture. But interesting that they can just call a snap election. So we'll see where, hopefully, I guess if you're the incumbent in France, the gamble will pay off. But we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, looking at Twitter and stuff, I thought I noticed another election maybe in Ireland, and just a lot of things happening in the world.
Yep.
And people are trying to use it as a feel or a gauge for what's going to happen here. Real quick, I'm asking, I don't know, but with July beans up 5 and Nove down 2, do you
Yeah.
have any color, or we'll have to ask corporate on the strength in the month here? Could be a strike down in Argentina, right? Is that a little give 'em that a little boost possibly, especially in the meal?
You know, the other one is this tax that Brazil implemented is it hasn't passed, but it went ahead and went into effect. So I think it's in effect for 2-3 months. Don't quote me on that, Tommy. But are we seeing that effect that we're hopeful that we can see some nearby exports come into play, right? That's my head when I look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're gonna be talking weather. Everyone's gonna be talking weather today on Premium. We starting on Monday mornings, Premium, we get a weather edition out to you, and that was fun to record that. And everyone's talking weather. Weather guys are talking
It's that
weather.
time of year.
Brokers are talking weather. As Brady Huck summed it up, it's silly season. Speaking of Brady Huck, he got a really nice rain out there in Kansas, and he was pretty excited about that.
Yeah, and it looks like they need it. Looking fit, it is the time of year where we're talking the 14-day GFS. We'll go ahead and pop it up. It's going to be a little bit hot, a little bit dry, but it's still not super threatening to me, Tommy. I think us as commodity brokers, we want to be very careful betting against the genetics. We say that a lot with this weather, but it looks like it's going to be a hot and dry week. So hopefully we can see some reaction in the market because of that.
Yeah, we're folks are still holding on to a lot of old crop. We're going to have July options expire here in a few weeks, and a lot of things are going to happen. I've said publicly here that personally trading, I don't like trading this time of year, especially as it comes up to the end of June. A lot of things happen. Grain flows through old crop. Weather markets get nuts. People get really aggressive thinking they have something, like they're looking to speculate. Like people who only trade grains are really looking to get something going in a big way. Now, if you're trading all the commodities, you may say, oh, corn's slow, I'm moving to be a gold trader, right? And that's one of the benefits of electronic trading. But I know people who exclusively trade grains, and they're always looking for that story, whether they're a fund, a CTA, a speculator, a member of the exchange. But it's often short-lived, and by the 4th of July, it's like a firecracker that you lit and it never went off. And then at some point, we come into a holiday weekend and we go home with one thinking and we have a different, and then it's over, right? And so I'm very scared of the when is it over trade.
Yeah, absolutely. And along those lines, we just looking at commitment of traders, and we saw them. I just have the corn one up. It's kind of the similar story
Yeah.
with soybeans and wheat, but they added to their shorts again. We saw a nice run up, right? And the big story, and what I read a lot, Tommy, is that they've historically always gotten long, right? And so, is that going to happen this year? When it happens, how violent a swing upward, right? If we're going to be a bull, that's the drum you're beating, is that the funds always have to get long. But when I look at this, I see almost zero correlation, right? There's a little bit seasonality where we sell off, but there is a lot of different action going on, right? 2019 was our wet year. That's the blue. Yeah, that's the blue line where we were very shorter than where we are now, and it was a violent run up, right? This year, we started off a little wet. Turns out we got the crop in time, and we've seen that sell off. So when I look at this, do we have to get long? No, not necessarily, right? 2020 now is another one that jumps out at me where we were very short. And then later in the season, we decided to get long. But I see no correlation when I look at previous years in terms of fund positioning.
Every year's different. People love to run correlations, and yeah, I can't think of a farmer, maybe they could say, oh yeah, that, it was hot and dry that year and it was hot and dry this year. I do know this year's nothing like last year. We planned this crop into dry weather. We used the words flash drought. We rallied the markets, an explosive rally. By this Thursday's drought monitor map, if we have one left, I mean, Brady was one of the last areas to really be like, wow,
Right.
we got a problem. And so do crops get ruined with too much water? Yes, but does more good come out of it than bad? I guess that's the question. There's a lot of people like to argue, but ultimately the person who decides the argument is that P&L on your futures and options account. I mean, if you just like to talk out loud and you don't trade, then you're just a talking head. But in the end, we square up every day when the markets close and money gets sent in and money gets sent out. So that's interesting nonetheless.
Yeah. Other thing I had, I saw this bar chart put this together, Tommy, and it's I love looking at like the 20, 30-year futures, the long-term price trends. And so the question was that they posed was, are we going to see $6 before we see 330, right? If we go back
Great
to that
article on bar chart. Yeah, great job
Yeah.
over there, bar chart.
Yeah, it was great to see. And so just looking at the color and see, the thing that always jumps out as me is the cyclical nature of, right? When we have a shortage, the function of the market is to increase supply, and we see that we're seeing it right now with topping $8 corn in 2022, and then seeing the sell off that we're in right now.
Right. Can we talk on a serious note when we go to $8, what that does? I mean, when we go to $8, what's that do to a price of a tractor? And what's John Deere doing now, right? $8 creates massive demand. $8 sends out a huge signal to go plant fence post to fence post and even knock down the trees so you don't have that tree fence post. And then we usually have, like a tail that just keeps going, and people get very angry when we go into a bear market because they're awesome at farming. And I guess the person you should really be mad at is yourself for buying great land, tiling it, planting good genetics, hiring every agronomy guy and throwing everything at it you can. And that sounds sarcastic, but it's true. I mean, I think a few times in my career, I started to realize I had clients that weren't like one or two who weren't good at farming. And I let go of them as clients. Like, I don't know that I work with anyone who stinks at farming. I work with some people who have way better land than others, but they make the best of what they have. Connor, what do you think?
Yeah, well said. Well said. There's there's not very many bad farmers left. I don't mean to say that there were bad farmers 30 years ago, but you're right. Most everyone is pretty good at dealing with, whether you farm in Central Illinois or North Dakota, right?
Technology's helped you become a better farmer is the way I'd like to say it. Speaking of technology, I think there's a big thing going on in Fargo. Not I think I know, like the Buddy Seat this week in Fargo, and they have this tech summit, and there's probably people watching or listening or up there, but they have a tech summit in Fargo every summer that's really cool. I wish I could go to it, but it's a massive 3-day event. They bring in some great minds there to just throw it around.
Yeah, cool.
All right, questions, comments? We got to talk about premium a little bit. Want me to talk about premium? Let's round up some comments and we'll end the show. Okay. Over the weekend, we had Don Wick, weekend review. Don talks, we talk markets, politics, everything else. Always good stuff. Friday, before we left, though, we popped on Kale. Kale gave us a little update, little heart to heart. What's going on in Nebraska. It was Kale's birthday Saturday. We wished him happy birthday. Of course, early this morning, we had additional premium content. Mick talked weather, and he's just amazing. Anyone from the Northern Plains knows that voice. So Mick gave us a nice 3 to 4 minute weather update just to get the week started. That's all available on premium content, www.atipromedia.com, $30 per month. Cancel with a phone call or an email, and we can get you started on that. All right, questions, comments, and we'll get going to our day job, sir.
Let's pop it in. Grow the farm up. Tommy G, is there a better chance prices are higher in 30 to 45 days, or are prices lower in 30 to 45 days? Not putting you on the spot or anything.
No. The way to look at that without me having to answer it is, what does it cost if you want higher prices in the next 30 to 40 days? What's it cost from an option standpoint? What does it cost if you want to protect prices in 30 to 40 days? So when you look at the options, any options, you just go, in this case, maybe look at like a September option. To buy a put is maybe to protect downside is not nearly as much as to buy the call. And sometimes it's half as much, because as we start to go down, we know that there's demand pops in and everything else, or we would want demand at low prices, secure low prices. But people will always pay extra to have that upside in grains. Now, in stock market, sometimes it's different, right? It depends on the stock also. And are we in a bear market or a bull market? But it's still affordable to buy downside. And it costs a little bit more to buy upside, but not nearly as expensive. I don't remember if it was on premium or just a regular show. We talked about these 550 calls, and they are not that expensive. So right now, the market has price like we may go a little lower, we may go a little higher, but it's not too worried about anything when I look at it from an option standpoint, but it will cost more for upside. Hey, real quick, speaking about options getting squished, Roy and Kitty, I gotta say, I was not impressed. I think that's a half hour. My brother Joe said it best. That's a half hour of my time I'll never get back. What was that?
It was just him. I made it like 10 minutes, and I'm like, well, this is pointless. I turned it off. But it was just him rambling. Just I just kind of, I guess at the end of the day, he's an entertainer that is long a whole lot of GameStop. So that's kind of what it was. It was just kind of pointless in my opinion. But
Yeah, you could see there
he
was
had a whole
lawyer with
whole lot of people watching, Tommy.
It was from a live stream standpoint. I was impressed.
Okay.
From a content point, if he does have those positions, which I think he does, he lost an incredible amount of money, a total volatility crush when it comes to GameStop and what happened there. Interesting.
Yeah.
And
yes,
sir.
along the lines of our question, what's going to happen next 30 to 45 days? Let's pencil in what's the potential, right? Is we have that June acreage report is going to be here in 20 days, roughly 20 days. And if you remember what that did last year, it was unbelievable how much acreage shift. We have the safrinha corn crop in Brazil. I just saw an estimate that it's roughly 10% harvested. So we're going to have a handle on what that yield is, and we'll see that crop come to market. It's typically their main exportable crop. We have U.S. weather, right? We're going to have a handle on, is this crop made? Is it not? Right? We're going to probably know that in 30, 45 days. So if we're looking at grain marketing, higher, lower, right? I'll save that for you, Tommy. But we've got a whole lot of factors that are going to become known in the next 45 days. Historically, markets move very fast from here till August, September.
Yeah, it's fun until it isn't, right? We really like trading, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we went up, we went down, this is great, but are we really going anywhere? There's 3 choices, up, down, and unchanged.
Right.
And that one is a volatility killer. All right. With that, questions, comments, anyone else? We'll get out of here. Of course, you want premium content, subscribe. We're going to record another piece of premium content this afternoon. I'll break down the crop progress numbers. We have a new feature where fellow brokers and coworkers can call in. That's been fun having people call in. Anything else out there? I know Brady's super excited about the weather. Several people asked, did he get a good rain? He'll post some pictures of that tomorrow. And with that, if that's it, we'll end the show, my friend.
Yep, let's do it.
See you, bye.
Tomorrow.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.